Hey everybody, Stephanie with the Machine Gun Nest, and I am here today to give you a little science lesson.
Yes, science!
So I'm sure you may have seen some of these in the shop. Maybe you've seen them in the movies. This is called a suppressor. You've definitely seen it in some of your favorite action movies. You might actually call this a silencer. This device in my hand, also colloquially called a can, doesn't actually silence a firearm. So let me tell you how it works. So when you use a firearm, there are three main categories that produce sound. One is the muzzle blast, right? You know, you shoot the gun, you hear the muzzle blast. What is happening internally is that the primer of that round is struck, causing a little micro explosion. The propellant inside the ammo explodes, and that high pressure inside of that barrel propels the bullet, which is the little piece of just in the front, it propels that out, right? So we have muzzle blast. The second thing that makes sound is the sonic crack of the bullet flying through the air. The third thing that causes sound is the action itself. That's the movement of the mechanical pieces. I want to show you. Right? All of these things, all of those things create sound. Now this, the suppressor, only affects one of those three things, and it is the muzzle blast. It's not going to affect the sound of the action. It's not going to dull the sound of this metal on metal working together. And it's not going to have any effect whatsoever on the sonic crack of the ammo flying through the air. So how does a suppressor actually work? So this is a really simple device. It's a metal tube, and it usually has on it a way to attach it to the barrel of a firearm. Now, this is just something I grabbed here in the shop, but a firearm, it will be called threaded. And if it's threaded, it means it has those little metal spiralings to allow it to receive the suppressor on the other end. It's what attaches it to it. And then it usually kind of clips onto the end depending on the model of the suppressor. So it hooks onto the end. Now here's where the amazing magic happens. Remember where I said it only affects the muzzle blast of the round coming through, right? Here's how it works. I want you to think about a balloon. If I had a balloon and I popped it, you would hear that sound, right? It makes a loud pop. We've all heard a balloon pop. But if I took that balloon, blew it up, and then, you know, you make it kind of, you know, everybody's done it before, and you let that air out slowly, it's not as loud. Now, this isn't a perfect analogy, but here's what I want you to think about. Inside of this suppressor are things called baffles. They look kind of like tiny little ramekins at a restaurant, right? And they're sitting inside this tube and they're layered in. And as that hot gas is coming out of the end of that barrel at incredible speeds, it is caught in each of these baffles. Now the baffles, what they're doing are two things. One, they're slowing down that air, and two, they're cooling it down. They're dissipating it so that when it does exit the end of this, as it comes out of the barrel, it's not going to be with the same speed, the same pressure, and the same force as it comes down, effectively reducing the decibels to be what would damage your ears to a more safe level of sound, a lesser decibel. And so you can shoot with a suppressor, even sometimes without ear protection, but it doesn't make it completely silent. It just brings it from being definitely doing ear damage to, okay, this probably isn't going to damage your ears. All right, so kind of like how I talked about before, this is dispelling the pressure and the heat and the speed of the gases coming out. So after you shoot a suppressed firearm, You cannot just grab this with your hand. The suppressor itself is very hot because it did its job, so watch out. Now, suppressors are made in different ways, which is kind of cool, but they're all kind of similar in their function. Some of them might have a solid core inside, but the holes and the placements that those engineers have designed in there are what they feel will be most effective in catching, cooling, and dissipating those gases as much as possible so that it reduces the decibel level. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in a suppressor, they are available here at the range. If you want to try one out, they're also available to rent on our rentals, and they're a lot of fun. We'll see you at the range.